Man, the Greek freak is freaking in Greece. Freaking for the Greek national team.
The best player in Greek history is considered to be Nick Dallas. Giannis is poised to take him over this year if everything goes right.
What more can you do if you're Giannis?
Five-time All-Star Marques Johnson.
Alongside Marques Johnson.
What's up, everybody? Hey, this is the Here District, captain of this vessel. And I got my first mate, my number one son, Kris Johnson.
What up? Talk to me.
Holla. Let it rain, man. Let it rain.
I guess what? We're going back to teach on Friday.
Yeah. You can't pass us all the breakfast.
Can't pass us all the breakfast.
Go fight.
Welcome, everybody, to the Here District, Marques Johnson.
You're listening to a Bucks Plus audio production on the Bucks Plus Network.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend. This is Here District with Marques Johnson, alongside his son and 1995 NCAA champion, Kris. Here's MJ.
All right, welcome everybody to the fantastic voyage. I'm the captain of this vessel, Marques Johnson, joined by my son, Kris Johnson. And we are going to talk about the hot topics around the basketball world here in the hot summer of 2025. We want you to join us on the fantastic voyage by following us at Bucks Plus Audio. And where else can you hear us, Kris?
Well, you can check us out on YouTube, and you can also listen to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, so Kris Johnson right there, Marques Johnson, the first father and son. Are we the first? We're the first and the only.
The only.
The first.
I like to say the only.
Okay, well, okay, first and only.
That includes first.
Yeah. We're the first and the only father and son combination to win a national championship at the same school. We got to start off with what our guy is doing over in Greece, man. The Greek freak is freaking. He's freaking in Greece, and freaking for the Greek national team. Hellas, how do we Hellas? Is that the Hellas? Yeah. He's having a hell of a hella summer for Hellas.
Yeah.
Giannis in EuroBasket 2025.
Yeah.
I mean, they beat a Spain team that had just been dominant in years past, Kris, and they are number one, Hellas, Greece, in their their division, their group. Their group. Is that what in their group? And Giannis has been nothing short of spectacular. And you know, when we had the writer
Harris
Savro, who was the top basketball writer in Greece, and I talked about Giannis being satisfied with the medal. You get the bronze, get the silver. Would that be satisfaction? And he shot that down, man, rather vehemently. And he seems to think that Giannis is good enough to lead this team to a gold. Is he?
I mean, he looks to be. What he's done is elevate the others around him. He's playing a style of basketball, as you saw that last game, where they were doubling him against Spain. They were doubling him every time he got the ball. He's finding guys. He's making the right pass. He's throwing your favorite little hook passes out the post, cross court joints. And guys are knocking down shots. I think that's been the biggest development, is that because of Giannis being unselfish and trying to elevate and lift his team up, if you will, guys have actually on Greece stepped up to the occasion. And now they're in a prime position to not only medal, but potentially win the gold.
Well, I mean, beating Spain is a major accomplishment. They're the first reigning EuroBasket champion to miss the group stage since Germany in 1995. Thank you, Giannis and Hellas.
Yeah.
And then Spain won gold in 2 of the last 3 EuroBasket tournaments. So that gives you an idea just how successful they have been.
Yeah, and the other thing on that, MJ, is like, overseas, like these tournaments, these competitions, like because of the level of dominance by these teams, sometimes it feels like, you know, you're playing against the refs too. So like a team like Spain, because of their dominance, because of their tradition and historical greatness, are usually going to get the call. So a team like Greece going in there beating Spain, you know, if you watch the game, you watch the highlights as well, you know, it was a nip and tuck game. It took Greece having to pull away and make something happen. So those type of wins, I think, resonate a lot more than a normal win in a normal European competition. This is the highest level of Europe, and Greece is poised to sit on the throne of that.
Yeah, so Giannis against Spain had 25 points. He had 14 rebounds, had 9, almost a triple-double, 9 assists in 32 minutes. Now here I go with my nervous Nelly, kind of act that I like to bring out every once in a while. But I would be I'm happy for Greece. I'm happy for Giannis and the Greece fandom and all that. But man, I would be just as cool if they were eliminated early and Giannis got a chance to get some rest before training camp. But that's not happening. I don't want what happened to Bogdanovich, the hamstring injury, the Clipper sniper coming off the bench. We don't know how long that's going to be in terms of that keeping him down. So those are the things that concern me in a way. But I'm also one to believe, Kris, that, you can't run away from competition. You can't run away from allowing, especially these European ball players, to represent their country because it means so much. As a matter of fact, what are they saying? They're saying that Giannis won't be considered the best player ever to play for Greece until he wins the EuroBasket.
Yeah.
Who's the guy that
Nick, the best player in Greek history is considered to be Nick Gallis, and
how many?
He's a live guard. He used to drop 50 regularly. He won. I think they won the 87. I don't know the year, but they won the EuroBasket for a year. But when you do something like that in these countries, as someone that's played overseas, to win the EuroBasket is the equivalent of winning an NBA championship. It's the equivalent of winning the Super Bowl. It's like the biggest deal, the highest honor outside of for what you can do outside of the Olympics for your club, your club team in Europe.
Yeah, I get it, but I would say being the Finals MVP, being a 2-time MVP of the NBA, dropping a 50-piece in a closeout Game 6 against Phoenix in 2021 to give the Bucks their first championship in 50 years. I mean, I understand Nick Gallis is probably a really good ball player. I get it, but
yeah. But see, that's the thing.
What more can you do if you're Giannis?
Well, again, Nick Gallis kind of is a trailblazer. He's a historical figure that got the excitement about Greek basketball at all-time high. People really started picking up the game after that. So you have to view him through the proper lens. I hear what you're saying about accomplishments. It's no different than the newer generation trying to disparage the generations from the past. But the thing about it is Giannis is poised to take him over this year with a gold medal if everything goes right. So, I think that Gallis's reign as the greatest player in the history of Greece will come to an end this summer.
Yeah, I think it's over. But hey, I think it's over, but we'll see. But also on that team, quickly, is a young man that I watched play in high school against my son Cyrus. So he was at Maranatha High School out in Pasadena. Tyler Dorsey went to Oregon. He's playing some good basketball. Another guy who cites his performance against Italy as being the clincher in terms of him coming back to the Milwaukee Bucks. The Nasty. He's coming back. The Bucks have signed him. That is, to me, that's good news, man. He, as our good friend, your former coach, LA Triple Threat AAU coach, current coach at Crenshaw High School, Ed Waters. He pulled my coat to something, Kris, about 3 or 4 years ago. But Thanasis was giving the Bucks so much energy and effort. He's like, that's your culture guy. That's the guy that kind of defines your culture, just in terms of how hard he plays. And so when you get a guy who plays that hard, who has that much enthusiasm for the game, still at 34 years old, been around a long time, and serves as Giannis's, I won't say protector, but big brother. You're just not going to be able to do anything, say anything to Giannis without having to answer to Thanasis. And then even more tangibly, Kris, and I had him look this up. I mean, in the 13 games in his Bucks tenure that Thanasis, the Nasty, has played 20 plus minutes, he's averaging almost 12.6 rebounds a game.
Yeah.
And I understand that a lot of times maybe those games were late in the season, and those were we call them Axel Tupon games. This former player that whenever Bud wanted to rest the starters, he would start Tupon and Thanasis and some other guys that never played. But still, to put up 12 and 6, 20 minutes, you got to be a credible basketball player to do it on the NBA level. Your thoughts on the Nasty back in the house?
It's a culture move. This is a culture move first. I mean, funny Ed said that because I hold the same sentiment towards Thanasis. I mean, his energy, his effort, his attitude, that positivity, that means something on high-level championship organizations. I don't care what anyone says. You can call it a meme. He's acting like a gimmick or whatever. I love that stuff because guess what? When everybody's down, there's always going to be somebody that's up. And for me, that's a big deal. The other thing, man, you're keeping the big fella happy. I mean, you're keeping Giannis. You're securing the long-term future of your generational international superstar by signing his brother. This is going to go a long way. You know what time it is with Giannis in terms of family, how important that is. So I felt like that this is a no-brainer type of move. I don't understand. I know it took a little while, but there was not one bone in my body that told me that Thanasis wouldn't be back with the Bucks next season. To me, this is a no-brainer.
How much of this was Giannis using his leverage and putting some comments out, not just committing right away? I'm back. Hey, what y'all tripping on? He's always been kind of like, let's see. I'm getting older. I want to have a chance to compete for some championships. I'm not sure. So then, but then you get all the media speculators out there. Giannis may not come back. Giannis is not making a definitive statement about coming back. I mean, to me, how much is that? It's like, look, y'all hook T up, hook my brother up, and it's a done deal. I mean, how can you go anywhere now that Thanasis is back on the roster?
Well, you're not. It's even a step further. If you remember when it was like Thanasis wasn't coming back. I don't know if it was because of the injury. I just remember Giannis's reaction. He wasn't happy. It was obvious. He kind of wears his emotions on his sleeve. And to me, like little stuff like that, like little stuff like that is super, super important in my opinion. I know it's like signing of someone's brother, but dude, all the posturing, all the soundbite floating, all the non-committal language that Giannis was on all summer, directly, it is absolutely 100% associated with Thanasis. Y'all need to take care of him, and then I'm gonna start talking that company talk y'all want me to talk. Period. Because why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you, bro?
You're going to have a lot of naysayers, Kris, based on highlights and snippets and memes. You know what I mean? Thanasis has made some plays out there that aren't going to go down in the basketball archives as the greatest of all time. They're funny to look at. But he's also made some really exciting plays, dunks. Every time he's on the floor, Kris, toward the end of the game, I'm like, he's going to get a dunk. Thanasis is going to get a dunk. He's going to get a fantastic block shot. He's athletic as all get out, and he's really good around the basket. But as you talked about, his defense, the defensive mindset, the energy that he brings to this team is palpable, and that's what you need in order to be, I think, a team that is going to compete at the highest level.
No, I agree. I mean, let's stop acting like the guy can't play. You just said it. 12-6 in the 13 games. He played 20 or more. Like, this is a capable dude. Let's do away with this narrative that Thanasis is like he's only in the league because of Giannis. Like, we need to, let's grow up. And the funny part was when we were talking to Harris, he had mentioned that he thought Thanasis would sign with a EuroBasket team and play some 5 in the EuroLeague. A EuroLeague team and play some 5. So I'm fascinated to see just how the Bucks may use him this season. At 34, he's a little older, coming off injury. So, is some 5, some small ball 5 in Thanasis' future? We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, hey, what is Thanasis about? 6'7", about 6'7", about good solid.
But he's strong.
He's about 230.
Yeah, he's
strong. Lower base, jumps out the gym, and he's got that tenacity that it would take. To play inside and to battle bigs and to not give up position and all the good things that you've got to be really, really astute at in order to be effective on the interior. And that's his game. His game is inside. He is so comfortable on the inside. So I could see that happening. But that leads us to this, Kris. What do you do with the roster now? I mean, you've got, we got 20, what do we got? Last count, I think, 20 guys coming in on contract or some way, shape, form, or fashion. I mean, you got Andre Jackson Jr., who's guaranteed date was pushed back. You got a little bit more money for that to happen. You got Amir Coffey coming in on a non-guaranteed training camp deal. You got some two-way guys, Pete Nance and Bouye and some other guys, Mark Sears. I mean, how do you see this playing out, man, with this roster glut that the Bucks have going on right now? I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't, it's going to foster a lot of competition. Chris Livingston, some other guys, it's going to foster some competition that is going to be interesting to watch.
I mean, the question is, like, what are you going to prioritize for next season at the wing position? Are you going to stick with the heart and soul, the energy guy, the defensive sort of, spark plug that can make things happen? Or are you looking at a proven shooter, a known commodity, get you double-figure points, small amount of time, add some offensive punch? I mean, it comes down to that for me. And it's a matter of where do you want your culture? Again, we got to get back to culture. You signed Thanasis. Ajax is a culture guy. He brings a level of doggish nature to the floor, chippiness that the Bucks need. So, again, this question is going to be interesting to see how the roster crunch happens. Ajax, the Bucks, what they do, they guaranteed them $800,000. So that's this and that, and then Coffey's got a non-guaranteed deal. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But if it were me, I don't know. It's like it's where do you want to go? Where do you foresee next year's roster? What does it take? Do you feel like it takes as general manager to win a championship? Is it Amir Coffey and his points, or is it continuing and sticking with Ajax, who could possibly blossom this season? It's a dice roll, bro.
Well, but here's the deal. It's how much culture redundancy do you have with Ajax and Thanasis in terms of,
Well, Ajax going to play, though. So Thanasis isn't going to play as much. So Ajax is actually going to culturally affect you on the court because he's going to get in probably in the second quarter.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I was going to throw in Amir Coffey in that mix also. So now when you've got the kind of the redundancy with Thanasis and Ajax, and then you got an Amir Coffey that's a 40% 3-point shooter who gives you some of the similar, not quite the defensive maniacal terror that Ajax is, the whirling dervish all up in it and athletic out the gym. But Amir Coffey is a really good defensive player that can shoot. So, but the thing I like about it, Doc Rivers is old school, man. And so these guys have got to come in training camp and compete for these jobs. And I expect that to amp up the level of intensity and conflict and all that good stuff that as a coach you like to see early. It's going to get the juices flowing with these players because there's nothing for certain, nothing guaranteed right now, and you've got to really, really earn a spot. We hear about it all the time. John Houseman, we've got to earn it. You've got to earn it. Come out here and earn it because nothing's going to be given. So it's a good thing.
My thing is, last thing on this, do you have enough shooting already? Do you need another shooter, or do you need to have a defender at the wing? Like, that's what, to me, I mean, you got to weigh that. You got to weigh it.
Yeah, you do. But I just harken back to Andre in the playoffs, not this year, but maybe last year. Was he a rookie, a young player? But anyway, Pat Connaughton started to get his minutes because Pat was a little bit more reliable. Just knowing Doc, you can't be too much of an offensive liability for Doc. Let me just put it that way. If he feels like, we got to go out there and play 4-on-5, he is not really feeling that. So you've got to show some kind. I'm not, and Andre shooting 38% from the 3-point line in minimum attempts.
But again, to your point, right? So Doc, you're saying all this where Doc likes this. So Ajax had an opportunity in Summer League to kind of show that off, and guess what? He didn't. So
yeah, and guess who did?
Who?
Chris Livingston. Chris Livingston averaged almost 20 points a game for a minute there in Summer League. So. And he brings a lot of the intangible. So it makes for fascinating conversation, and it's going to make for an even more fascinating training camp. So I like it. Competition breeds excellence in my mind. Iron sharpens iron, steel sharpens steel, and we've got plenty of it coming at you. All right, speaking of sharp, I don't know, that's a terrible segue, but how do you feel about this new all-star format where you've got, let me get this straight now. It's a 3-team round robin, 8 players on each team. So that's 24 guys. So all-star teams, usually 12 on each team. So that's 24 guys. But they're going to have, 2 U.S. teams and 1 world team, right? And they ran it by the competition committee and all that, and everybody likes the idea. It's just so interesting to me, Chris, how there's so many mechanisms that have been tried over the last 4 or 5 years to to bring back some competitiveness to the All-Star game. I mean,
put some money on it. Put some money on it. Stop with the gimmicks. Stop with the gimmicks and break out the bag. Like, think about it. What you're doing now, you're diluting this whole entire thing. You got two U.S. teams, one world team.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even understand this format. And how long is the game? How is it? Wait, is it a normal time or?
They're gonna play. They're gonna play three games, each lasting one 12-minute quarter.
Yeah, so it's three
two
games.
Teams
12.
with the best. Yeah, to 12-minute quarter. Two teams with the best record going to move on, and so it's got it's a minimum amount of time to kind of get things done. So that'll make you a little bit more competitive. But I agree with you. You got to put some millions, some bucks on that thing.
The bottom line in all these All-Star games, Major League Baseball did it, the Pro Bowl did it. They put stuff on the line and made it worth something. So now you should have kept it normal. You should have kept it East-West, and then you should have put something on the line like the East team, gets whatever. So
the winners get $5 million and the losers get $100,000.
Whatever
some kind of major disparity. You know what I'm saying? Like $1 million each for the winners and $50,000 for the losers. Just make it a major disparity so it becomes worth instead of like $1 million and $800,000 or whatever.
Because fans aren't trying to see this like non-competitive bullcrap at All-Star games no more. It's been too many years of this. It's kind of contributed to fan apathy towards the event, the support of the event, viewing the event. They already messed up the dunk contest, and they messed up everything just by having all these dumb rules. Like, take it back old school to where it's in its simplest form. 12 guys here, 12 guys there. Put a few million. The loser gets 100,000, and call it a day. And let's see who's gonna compete.
Right, and the thing that really messed up, it rendered All-Star game stats meaningless. I mean, so what? A guy scores 40, 45. There's no defense being played. It's not. I wouldn't even call it a playground exhibition. It's worse than that. It's just the worst kind. I don't even watch it, man. I mean, I watch the dunk.
It's horrendous.
Three-point shooting.
It's the least desirable.
I can't watch it.
The least desirable sporting event in the history of television. Seriously, like I have no incentive, no desire to watch that stuff.
Yeah, and so let's look at the potential starting five. Now, who's going to win? So we look at the starting five for the international team. I mean, you've got 1, 2, 3. You got three of the top guys in Shea, Giannis, and the Joker. Three of the top MVP guys. You got Luka Doncic. You got Victor Wembanyama. I mean, God, that's an impressive five. I mean, you think the U.S. can put together a team so then they'll have Steph and KD and LeBron. I mean, a bunch of guys in their late 30s to 40 with LeBron.
God, so there's no young American stars that we can send out there that in their mid 20s that we can send out there. And no, I'm just saying, like, there's nobody like Steph, KD. We got to send out the old dudes. Like, I think a youth movement will run those guys. I mean, I like SGA, I like Luka, I like Wemby, I love Giannis, I love Jokic. That's a scary lineup. Giannis at the three is very just frightening. But the reality is, if you give me KD, God, he's an old guy. Who are our young guys? Who are our young guys? Like, who is the Halliburton's out? Like,
well, Jaylen Brown would be Brunson,
Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley.
Mitchell would be in that mix. Evan Mobley would be in that mix. Leaving somebody out, but those are the Paolo Banchero down in Orlando, which is probably going to be a guy that's going to get a lot of consideration. So, I mean, that's some young, good, athletic, talented ball players that I'm with you. I think with Anthony Edwards, we leave it on Anthony Edwards.
Let's bring out Anthony Edwards.
The Ant-Man.
Hey, it's too bad a guy like Dyson Daniels is Australian because he wouldn't qualify for the USA team. But that'd be the type of guy, that the US could use. That long, young guy at the one to kind of mess with SGA. Because I mean, look, it's guys. It's guys. It's not just this cut and dry. The world's gonna dominate. I'm not rolling. I mean, I love Giannis. I mean, I believe in Giannis, but them other guys I don't believe in as much as I do Giannis.
Okay. Well, so and it'll be some first-time All-Stars for sure with, Jason Tatum, Tyrese Halliburton not available. Dame has gone on to to Portland as he rehabs his Achilles. So there's going to be some spots on this Eastern Conference All-Star team for some first-time guys. How exciting is that to be named All-Stars? And so in this segment that we're about to have some fun with, Kris, we're going to draft our NBA All-Star first-timers, okay? Now, our producer, Dylan Carter, has come up with this draft between you and I. Now, they wanted to accede the first pick to you on some kind of bogus coin flip. I'm not rolling with that. I've got my own coin. And so I'm gonna flip the coin. You're gonna call it, and then we'll see who goes first. And then you get to pick. You got your list available of kind of the guys we're gonna choose from, the potential first-time All-Stars of the Eastern Conference. Okay, here we go. I'm flipping the coin. And what you got?
Tails.
Dang it.
It's always
Dang
tails,
it.
bro.
All right, yeah, you got it. Go ahead, man.
All right, my first pick, I'm going to, man, so these guys, this is nasty. This first-time All-Star is nasty. I'm going to go with Dyson Daniels.
Dyson Daniels as a first-time All-Star. Okay, let me check that off. I'm going to go, Kris, with, it's two guys. Either I got to go with Jalen Johnson. He's a local Milwaukee product, and he put up some incredible numbers last year before he got hurt. And I think he's gonna have a breakout year.
Yeah,
I'm going with Jalen Johnson.
I've known Jalen Johnson was special since I coached against him back in the summer of 2018 on the EYBL. He played for this AAU team called Wisconsin Playground or something. But man, he was like one of the most physically gifted and impressive players. It does surprise me how well he's doing. For my second pick, OG. I'm going with OG.
OG Anunoby. All right. That's a good one. OG Anunoby.
It's my small forward.
Okay, so then that leaves this guy for me to pick. Thank you very much. I'm going with Miles Turner of the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, you take Miles.
I got Miles. I got Miles and Jalen Johnson. 1, 2. I
think honestly, of all the guys, I think Miles has a really, really good shot to be a first-time All-Star because of, first of all,
why didn't you pick him? Why do you pick him?
His body of work, because you picked him. His body of work, right?
Well, you passed on it with OG and Dyson.
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't really matter.
You just said you think of all these guys. You said of all these guys, he's got the best chance to be a first-time All-Star.
Yeah,
but you passed on him twice.
So, because I'm picking, I was hoping you didn't pick him because I was going to pick him as my center. So I wanted to get two guys. This isn't we're going to pick who we think is the first guy that's going to be a first-time All-Star. I'm building my team. Okay, I'm building my team. So as a first time,
if he's the best guy on this list to be a first-time All-Star,
I think he has the best opportunity. I think he has the best opportunity to be a first-time All-Star. I like Dyson Daniels.
Of all these guys, of all these guys on this list.
But that doesn't mean I need to pick him first.
But does that mean he'd be the best player?
But it doesn't mean I need to pick him first.
So you're not going to pick the best player?
It means that I'm going to build my team out the way that I see fit. So I'm hoping he's there, but I'm going to build it out the way I see fit.
So who'd you pick?
I picked Dyson Daniels and I picked OG. And for my third pick, I think I'll go with somebody that's at the 2 that can really go. And I got to go with Desmond Bane.
Desmond Bane. Okay, I'm picking guys who I think will have the most likely opportunity of being a first-time All-Star.
Okay.
I'm not really trying to build my team because this is all, in our heads. So I'm looking at this list, and I'm going to build my team of guys who I think has the best chance of being a first-time All-Star. And I think, look, this guy was good enough to be named an Olympian. So he's dang sure good enough. And with Jason Tatum out, there's going to be more opportunities for him to score. He's one of my favorite players out of Colorado. Derek White.
That's a good pick, Derek. I like his game. I like his game a lot. For my fourth pick, I'm trying to fill my power forward spot. So I'm going to go with Franz Wagner. I know Franz is, kind of does that hybrid thing, but I'm going to go with Franz as my power.
Well, so I got a chance to put a UCLA guy on board, Norman Powell, who should have made it last year. I think he got snubbed.
It's tough.
James Harden is more of a body of work, lifetime achievement selection. Norman was actually playing better statistically than James.
It's tough to make it out the West.
Yeah. This is, let me see. So you got Cade Cunningham, Who else in Detroit has a chance outside of this guy I'm looking at here, Jalen Duren? We've got Ausar Thompson on it. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Jalen Duren.
Oh, that's a good pick.
Man, I love this dude. I love him, and he's gonna put up some numbers. He's a double-double. He's like double-double. I say that, but it's like 11, 12 points a game. But he's gonna be a rebounding fool, I think, this year, and come up with 12, 13 rebounds a game, and a lot of times, along with his defense, that's enough to get you selected as an all-star.
So you think the coaches will value the third? So we're gonna have Cunningham, Ivy, Duren. You think?
Well, I didn't pick Ivy. Ivy's an all-star. No.
I'm saying you think the coaches would value. So these are the guys kind of in the pool. You think they'll value Duren enough to be a first-time all-star?
Oh yeah. He's Just the beast, the bestiality. I don't know if that's
I've seen him.
Politically correct to say that, but just he plays so hard. And I think it'll be a Ben Wallace type of a pick.
Okay.
Kind of a Ben Wallace kind of recognition of a guy that just play the energy guy, the hold it down on the inside. He took out $2 on basically one possession last year with just hard screens. I think of Gary Trent Jr. and somebody else, I forget who it was, but two guys. And so I think the numbers, plus, you got to put up some decent numbers. He's going to get big minutes, and I think he's going to put up good enough numbers to be an all-star.
Well, then that leaves me with, and I got guys out of position, but I'm going to go with Ausar Thompson. You didn't pick Ausar Thompson, did you?
No.
I'll take Ausar Thompson. Let me have Ausar Thompson because I just feel like those doggone Thompson twins are going to make a big leap, both of them actually. Yeah. And I think that Ausar, the athleticism is so incredible, and then the way those guys work, like I really think he's going to have a big year for the Pistons.
So you like Ausar better than Amen?
I like Amen a little bit better than Ausar.
I do too. Okay.
I like Amen a little bit better, but they're very similar in a lot of ways. I mean, obviously twins, but their numbers, stats, everything. I mean, it's like a lot of similarities there.
But Amen has got a little more shiftiness, right? I mean, in terms of euros and all that to the basket. I mean, Ausar seems more straight line. I mean, I love his defense, athleticism.
They both have it, but Amen's able to play at the lead guard, ball handler, creator. So
a little more freedom out there.
You see him doing a lot of stuff out there because it's
Okay, so that's a good pick. Ausar Thompson. So it leaves me with my last pick, and now I get a chance to choose between Mikal Bridges, Kobe White, and Norman Powell. And so I can go with Norman Powell. I'm going to give Norman Powell his flowers down in Miami. I think he has a chance to put some real positive numbers up once he gets accustomed to their system. So, let's see. You've got who? Who you got? France, Desmond, Ausar,
Dyson,
and OG. Dyson and OG. Okay. I got Miles, Jalen, Duren, and Derek White. Derek White. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's our first time all-star team that Kris picked, that I picked. Give us a shout out and let us know who you think has
the best team.
Or the guys with the best chance to make the all-star team for the first time. All right. Anyway. So that was fun. Thank you, Dylan, for coming up with that segment. So now, moving on. All right, here we go. The Steve Ballmer, Kawhi Leonard story. Yeah, aspiration and Kawhi Leonard. And, Kris, you're hearing a whole lot of people talk about, and this is the part that I don't like. So I'm going to start off with this because this really rubs me the wrong way. To me, Kris, it's like if Tom Brady owned a sanitation company, would we see memes of Tom Brady emptying garbage and people feeling like he's got to be hands-on and get on the truck and make sure the garbage, you wouldn't. You would assume that he's going to be the CEO or whatever it is, and he's going to delegate whatever. You see all these memes of Kawhi with the hard hat on, like he's supposed to get out there and plant these trees. Now, the other point, and Mark Cuban kind of touched on this. Now, it goes both ways because Mark Cuban talked about Steve Ballmer's worth, $50 billion, whatever it is. I know Steve from our days with the Sonics when he was with Microsoft up in Seattle. Really, really good guy. And it's got to be as sharp as they come. Is Steve Ballmer going to put himself in a situation like this where there's – and I'm not saying under the table money. I'm just saying where it becomes so easy to trace under the table money and let a company go bankrupt, so that now these records become public. So now you've got the Pablo, what's the guy? You got your guy Pablo Torres of the world able to look at the paperwork and see that this company has paid him with 28 and then another 20. And I think Steve Ballmer put in $50 million as kind of seed money and 3% ownership interest. So I don't know, Chris. Clippers, man, it's tough because this is their all-star year. This is the year they wanted to have their franchise showcased. The Intuit Dome is going to be hosting the all-star game in February. They've done a great job putting together, the roster and John Collins and Chris Paul and who else did they get? They got somebody else I liked on their roster right now. But they've really done a nice job putting together their roster. Bradley Beal comes over after he gets bought out. Brooke is there. I mean, this is a good basketball team. And now all this becomes, because this is the dog days before training camp starts, dog days of basketball, but they're getting all this negative attention. I don't know, man. Where do you see this happen? Are they cooked?
I mean, I would think, and cooked is relative in this because the maximum penalties that you could be fined is like $7 million or 4 or 5, I don't know, $5 to $7 million. Lose some draft picks, you suspend Ballmer. It's not like it's a huge deal as far as the type of repercussions that could. It's not.
Didn't Minnesota and Joe Smith, they lost like 5 first-round draft picks because of some stuff that they did.
I mean, yeah. I mean, but it's like, but Kawhi you still get to play. I mean, you still get to compete for a title this year if you're the Clippers, and Kawhi, by all accounts, is still going to get that money. He's still going to get. I mean, they're still on the hook for that money. I think the biggest. It's not a question of if something shady happened. It's obvious that if you have an organization like Aspire that signs on for a $300 million deal with the team, Steve Ballmer invests $50 million, Kawhi gets paid $48. It's not it's just coincidence. It's a matter of, does the NBA have the intestinal fortitude to really come down hard, making an example out of Steve Ballmer, so that these practices that kind of they've turned their head at for years, because there's always a lot of stuff involved with free agency and cap circumvention that it's kind of a gray area. And so there's a lot of things that happen year in, year out that the NBA, kind of Bill Simmons made this point, kind of, just kind of turns his head at, but they haven't really dealt with it on the level of an owner of a Steve Ballmer. Steve Ballmer's an owner where $50 million is chump change. He literally has $50 million laying around. He's playing a different game in a different ballpark, literally. So the question isn't, did something happen? The question is, are we really supposed to believe that Steve Ballmer, one of the richest people that have ever lived on this planet, right, it is supposed to be absolved for any wrongdoing because he dealt with a fraudulent company? Like, Kawhi's on the book for $7 million. This is a really weird deal. We don't have no social media proof of nothing other than some happy birthday posts from the Clippers. Like, there's a lot here that's just like, this is crazy. And then if you watch Steve Ballmer's interview with Ramona Shelburne yesterday on SportsCenter, not very convincing. Looked like a dude that was up there, look, it wasn't very convincing to me. Now, other people have taken other things out of it, but my thing is, like, it comes down to this. To me, it's not a matter of if something happened. It's a matter of if the NBA and its investigation is willing to really do something about what happened.
Well, can you prove it too? I mean, and that's where it's going to really rubber meets the road time. How much of this can you prove? And I would have to think Steve Ballmer is astute enough of a businessman. Now, I say that, and then you hear Steve Ballmer talking to Ramona Shelburne saying how he was conned. His people didn't look over the financials, but a lot of people were conned. But this guy conned a bunch of people out of $270 million. I mean, it was a big time, whatever it was. I'm not gonna say a Ponzi scheme, but to rob Peter to pay Paul. But it was a lot of money moving around. But did you see what our guy on Josiah's show, where he co-hosts Gilbert Arenas? You see, they brought up I think it was an older take by Gilbert Arenas, where he talked about openly how Steve Ballmer's worth $50 billion, and how you gonna have a level playing field with guys worth $3 and $4 billion, and if he's got to pay not only players under the table, but pay investigators under the table, or pay the commissioner under the table to get this thing to go. And he was being tongue in cheek and funny about it. But as you talk about, I mean, that's a lot of money to play with. So it'll be interesting to see how this thing, because Adam Silver, if there's smoke there, he's got to make an example, and it's going to be interesting to just see just how far he goes in doing so.
But you got to separate this idea that he got conned. So let's say he did get conned. Does that mean that he didn't funnel money to Kawhi Leonard through this company? Like,
well, he said he introduced him. He said they wanted to get into an endorsement deal.
So if you make an introduction and God, the numbers, the $50 million investment and Kawhi gets paid 48, like that's unique, right? Let's just say it's a coincidence. The other thing, why does him getting conned absolve him from circumventing the salary cap or trying to use that company? Like, that's my question. How does a company that has no proven track record in a space land a $300 million deal with the Clippers and a $50 million investment from Steve Ballmer? Kawhi took a 4-year, $174 million, $75 million below the max, right? So that part of it is interesting. I'm not saying that says guilt, and I'm not mad at Kawhi. I'm not mad at nobody here except who's breaking the rules and how do we hold them to the fire? That's all I'm worried about.
Well, and again, how much CYA cover your ass have you employed if you're Steve Ballmer? But so one of the guys that came to Ballmer's defense right away, Mark Cuban.
Duh.
You saw that he said that I'm on Team Ballmer. He talked about the company and how shady they were. So I just happened to look up, Kris, the salaries of Dirk Nowitzki. 2014, $22 million. 2015, $7.9 million.
Sweetheart.
8.3 million.
Give me a break.
2017, $25 million. 2018, $5 million. 2019, $5 million. And I'm not saying anything. I just wanted to kind of just, put that on the record that Dirk's salary was all over the place.
Right.
So,
and Jalen Brunson took $163 million less in New York. And guess whose name is also on that document with Aspire? James Dolan in the form. It's on that document, bro.
Okay.
Go ahead and look at it. But I'm not saying that signifies guilt. I'm not trying to accuse, but I'm saying there's something up. What is it? Something rotten in Denmark? Like, it isn't one of these things like where, because the billionaire comes on TV and says he didn't do it. That settles it. That's not one of those things. The paper trail is there. The money's matching up. It's like, okay. And I understand about having to prove it. I get that part. So a lot of this could be circumstantial, and it's just, filings, and we just happen to owe Kawhi $28 million, and it's all good. And it might end up like that. But it still looks, the optics on this are a little suspect.
I got to think Steve is smart enough not to. What's Kawhi's company called? KL2,
but
tree service. I mean, how just blatantly obvious. It's like kind of the doing stuff right in front of your face so that you don't think anybody would be that much of a
because you did it with the understanding that you whatever you're gonna do whatever it took to not let this company go under, or this guy that you were. It's deeper. It's a lot deeper. If you look at KL2, that should tell you a lot about the nature and how serious this thing was taken. Like, it's like, whoa, they really thought that nobody was ever going to see this type of stuff.
All right, well, that'll be fun to watch how that plays out. Angel Reese.
Oh, wow. That's a little...
So she expressed her discontent with the roster, how this team is playing. I mean, are they out of the playoffs again for her second year? I believe they are.
No question.
She called out several teammates, Courtney Vandersloot, Rachel Banham, and Haley Van Lith. But she called out all the white girls, huh? Anyway, called out some of her teammates. How much different is this than Giannis saying, I don't know if I can commit to the Bucks unless you give me a team that can compete for a championship.
Come on, man. You know how different it is. You know how different it is off top.
No, is it not okay to? Is it? I mean, she's not accepting losing, and she's going a step further, and she's making specifics about what needs to be done to try and get this thing changed around. So I mean, I understand she's talking about making the playoffs. We're talking about Giannis and championships. It's a whole different world. But I don't know. I mean, I don't have a problem with her venting. She
Yeah.
came back and
I
apologized
hear
if
you.
I offended anybody, but so I don't know.
Look,
You tell me.
I don't think she's not wrong about the roster. Vandersloot is a first ballot Hall of Famer. So over in that league, when you are a second year young player, you have not led nobody to no championships. You're a great player, but you have not led nobody to no championships. They're going to look at you kind of differently because you're not respecting the game. So you could say that or think that, but saying it publicly, the WNBA culture is not ready for all that. And I don't think that as a player that has not made the playoffs and you're losing a lot of games, you should be talking. Giannis, if he says that, did that this summer, he has a 2021 championship as sort of his, like, this is my badge. This is my badge of honor. I get to do, as we know, guys with win rings and people that win championships in sports get to do different things. They're held to a different set of standards than people that did not. So this is one of those things. What a just asinine thing to say about your teammates. I've never heard of someone throwing their teammates, talking during the season, telling like we can't win with her. Like really, like literally, we can't win. I was like, wow. Yeah. So let's say that they did take some of the quotes out of context. Where's the PR people? Why isn't somebody around Angel like, hey, maybe after the first answer, like maybe you should not double down and then triple down, naming 2 more players. Like, look, I love Angel for what she brings on the court, her fire. I love the icon off the court that she is. But this was an example, I think, of youth and immaturity. I think that she's going to learn from this, grow from this, and I think this was just a hiccup that she has to learn from. She has to get some public humiliation. People kind of got to go on her and tell her how wrong she was. And I think she'll figure it out pretty quickly. She's already kind of doubled back and apologized, so she knows what's up. But it's just such a, I mean, it's like if you're a second year person, MJ, on the Bucks, and whoever your vet was, you're going to the media and talking to your vet about telling the media about your vet who high level. Who's your vet when you were second year? Who am I thinking of? Who's the best player on the Bucks in your second year?
Me. First team All Pro.
Who was the second best player that was older than you? That was older.
Me? No, Brian Winters.
So it's like you going. It's like you talking about Brian Winters. Okay, it's like you saying something about Brian. That's a good comparison because Vandersloot is a similar mode fashion of a Brian Winters. Except I don't know if Brian Winters is a Hall of Famer, but Vandersloot is a WNBA Hall of Fame first ballot. Yeah. She's like second all time in assists.
But then that begs me to this question, this point, and I think of Jimmy Butler and a lot of different places, Miami, Minnesota, all these different places. When Jimmy Butler, they were scrimmaging in Minnesota, and he was yelling about the quality of players. It was terrible. Get these, yelling out with management. And what happened? He got traded. He got out of there. Miami, he did something similar. I'm losing the love for the game. And so what happens? He winds up in Golden State and one of the best. So I'm just wondering, in a Machiavellian kind of a sense, is if Angel is trying to say some things that she's hoping will get her out of there, get her out of Chicago. She probably knows some things about the organization and how things are run in Chicago. The Chicago Sky. I don't. It's all conjecture.
That's a great point.
I mean, if she's trying to get out of there, this is the way. Sometimes you got to do it. Remember, I don't know.
It's a very nuanced point for someone like you to make because you guys in the league, you guys in the Angels in the league, you guys think differently. You guys operate differently. To think of that, that makes sense. Chicago is one of the worst organizations, or arguably the worst run organization in the WNBA. They're behind on their scheduled practice facility groundbreaking that they're doing. So they're behind on that. It's not going to open now until next year or something like that. And then the roster and personnel decisions they made over the last couple of years haven't been the greatest. But MJ, to your point, it does seem like she might be trying to precipitate a move up out of Chicago.
Well, and the reason I think of it is because my second year, my first team All Pro year, 26 points a game, almost. But I developed this hip injury, and it would flare up every 3 or 4 days. I'd play a game, I'd miss a couple of games, I'd play a game, 3, 4, 5 games, miss a game, and Don Nelson, the coach at the time, Chris, he went to my trainer, Tony Spino, who's been on our show, former UCLA trainer. He was a trainer in Milwaukee. And he asked Tony, was I faking an injury? Mm. And so I took umbrage, and Nelly had left the team at the end of the season to go scout the Aloha Classic All-Star Games in Hawaii. So he left us for like 2 weeks to go to Hawaii. And so I got really pissed off that he would question whether or not I was hurt. while he was in Hawaii, scouting, but chilling, chilling and scouting at the same time. And my point is that, man, I was so tempted, Kris, to use that as a way to get out of Milwaukee. It's just like, look, I can't play for this dude. And I made that. I talked to Jim Fitzgerald, the owner, and told him, like, look, these guys questioning my integrity. Get me out of here. I can't play for him. So Nelly called me up. I wouldn't talk to him. He talked to my father and told my father that if he's damaged our relationship, that he'd retire from basketball. It was a great move on his part. And, I didn't want to, I guess, go down. I mean, I don't know. I accepted his apology. We tried to move forward from that. But here's the kicker. So going into my third year, on the heels of this conversation that I had with Nelly about not quitting, not retiring, we can repair the relationship. On the heels of that, going into my third year is when he brought me into the office and said, MJ, how many points can you average? I said, 30. Me and George Gervin will be free. We're going to lead the league in scoring. He's like, yeah, I know you can. You averaged 26 this year. You were number one in offensive box plus minus. But in order for us to be the best team we could be, I want you to average 20. And like a fool, instead of bartering and saying, I'll meet you in the middle. You want 20? I say 30. I'll average 25. I went with the 20. So my point is that with Angel, sometimes you've got to Jimmy Butler. We Magic and Paul Westhead. Magic's like, I don't want to play for this dude. I can't trade me. I can't play for him. And what did Dr. Bus do? He got Westhead. Sometimes, and not to say Angel's on that level, but sometimes you got to make those tough stances to if you're really unhappy in a situation, like she probably is. Sometimes you got to put some stuff out there that's a little uncomfortable at times because you're gonna get the backlash. So we'll see where that goes. Anyway, finally, a movie that we saw together. They had a media screening for this, Spike Lee's latest, Highest to Lowest, starring our guy Denzel Washington, Jeffrey Wright, ASAP Rocky, who I thought did a really solid job. Now I'm gonna take a different tack. Instead of asking you how you like the movie, but there's a guy who I love. He's on a whole lot of MSNBC, Morning Joes, and different talk shows, CNN. Torre, brother with the wild hair. Anyway, but he's kind of a music critic. But he thought that Spike Lee showed a major level of disrespect to hip hop in terms of how ASAP Rocky was portrayed in the movie. Did you see any of that kind of a denigration of just the hip hop culture by an old head, maybe looking down? Because he had all the jazz photos of Billie Holiday and some of the Dizzy Gillespie and all these posters in Denzel's office at home. And then, I don't know, they had ASAP Rocky as a kidnapper, as this, did you see any connection between a disrespecting of hip hop in that film?
I didn't really view it through that lens.
Okay.
I wasn't I wasn't that vested in it. It kind of lost me after the first 30 minutes. So I wasn't really plugged in to like the emotional side of, did it bother me on hip hop? I just thought it was cinematically, it was great. I liked the shots. I liked the city. The storyline didn't really do it for me, but I'm not, who am I? You know what I mean? But I didn't really feel it. So I was kind of just out of it after about 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah. And I agree that, the cinematography was outstanding. That opening crane shot of Denzel on the balcony of the high rise. Denzel, he did his Denzel thing. I thought there were some moments of levity in serious situations that was a little out of place. It just, Jeffrey Wright, I thought was good as Jeffrey Wright in terms of what he had to work with. I think the actors in terms of what they had to work with were really good. I'm with you. I thought it seemed like it was a little bit long too, like maybe 20, 30 minutes too long. The ASAP Rocky scene and Denzel, the rap battle. How'd you like that? The old head going against the young head.
That was one of the corniest moments in cinematic history, in film history. Literally, no, it was corny. It was corny, and that's like disrespecting hip hop. I think that's what your boy was talking about. That weirdo rap battle based on trying to talk him off a ledge, but I'm gonna rap you off the ledge. Like nobody's gonna rap you off of no ledge, bro. Like that was the wrong time to put. But again, they took a chance. Spike took a chance. Spike has a body of work as a director to where I feel like, I don't know where he's at in his career right now, but it just didn't feel like a normal Spike film. I don't even remember if they had that traditional Spike Lee shot where they got the guys moving on that moving thing. I didn't even see that shot, and so I'm like, I was waiting for that all movie because I love
the floating, guys floating,
the floating
on the dolly on the dolly.
Where was that at?
No dolly scene.
On the positive, ASAP Rocky did a great job. The son of Denzel, I enjoyed. He did a really good job. Rick Fox, oh man, dude, Rick Fox fell off, bro.
Who was his assistant? It was another NBA guy, right?
Rod Strickland.
And Rod Strickland maybe was in there too. Yeah, that scene was a little.
And then the Spike was doing all the Knicks stuff. It was funny.
Boston. Yeah, all the Celtics stuff too.
Excuse me. It was F Boston. So look, we're sitting. So as our fans probably don't know this, but we were behind us, literally behind my shoulders, sitting was Bill Simmons, and so the Podfather. So for the whole movie, there were these interesting references to the Celtics, dissing the Celtics, basically. It felt like Spike was doing that to Bill, literally. And but it was just Bill's conversation behind me was hilarious. He really is. Yeah. He really is he does talk about the normal same stuff. He's talking to the dude next to him about kids and traveling and not feeling like having to go to Colorado or wherever he's going.
And I don't know if this was any indication of his feelings about the movie, but after you had pointed out that it was Bill Simmons sitting behind us, I kind of recognized him coming in. So I planned to after the movie, go back to that next row, say hello, kiss the ring, do what we have to do to maybe get him on the show, do something. I love the guy. I love the work that he does and what he's accomplished, what he's built. And so the movie ended.
He was out of there.
I stand up to go back and say hello to Bill. Bill gone. Bill's like, and you don't want to do that thing where Bill, wait, but he's Bill, hold it, Bill, can we get you in our podcast? He's like, you better get out my face for that. Anyway, but Bill was gone, man, and so, but anyway, so look, fans, what I want you to do, check out Highest to Lowest. It's on Apple, I believe, somewhere it's streaming. You can check it out at home. You ain't got to pay the $8, $9, $10 to go to the theater.
Yeah.
Check it out at home. Pay the $3 or $4 or whatever it's going to cost to get the movie, and let us know what you think. I've read some really great reviews about it. People have loved that movie, but other people are like us. I mean, it just kind of meandered a little too much for me.
Yeah. The reviews are shocking to read, that people the great reviews, which is but I think it has more of a do with respect for Spike and not necessarily this individual film. You're going to kind of dress it up a little bit. Look, it was, it's not my cup of tea, but it might be somebody else.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see what our fans think. Let's see where our fans kind of fall in terms of, are you going to be highest or lowest in terms of what you think about this movie? Highest to lowest by Spike Lee. And look, and let me say this too. I mean, I appreciate the effort. Anybody, Spike, his body of work. What's your favorite movie? Mine is Do the Right Thing. What's your favorite Spike Lee movie?
Mo Better Blues.
Yeah, dude. Oh yeah, Bleak. Oh my God, yeah, Bleak. Cinda Williams is yeah, and his sister does a good job. Joey does a great job in that too. But Wesley Snipes and Giancarlo Esposito, all the Bill Nunn, all the usual suspects. And see that's classic Spike Lee. That is classic Spike Lee, along with Mo Better Blues, and he's got a catalog, man, that is really impressive. So got to give him that. All right, Chris, that's going to be it for this. But we're going to have a treat for our fans who love to listen to this guy on Bucks Radio. Earlier this summer, we were joined by the play-by-play voice of Bucks Radio, Dave Koehn, and he's going to talk about some of his favorite moments during the season, and then also a lot of dog talk. All you pooch lovers out there, we got some great dog talk coming up. So hang out with us, man. But look, I'll see you next week, man. And great conversation. And it's things are continuing to get more and more interesting. We'll follow EuroBasket, kind of give you the updates on what Giannis is doing. Hopefully they'll be going for a gold, and we'll see how that plays out. And welcome back home, the Nasty, back in the house. That's good news. Here District, Marques Johnson, Kris Johnson. We're out of here. All right, welcome back to Here District, Marques Johnson, Kris Johnson. We are privileged to join. I think this is his second appearance on Here District. First visual. Is this the first visual, Kris? First visual?
Yeah, it's the first time I laid eyes on him. So
he's got a face for radio.
He's a looker. He's a looker.
Is that what they say? Dave Koehn, the radio voice, and sometimes television voice of the Milwaukee Bucks. Dave, man, you look like you're chilling out. You got the beard working, man. The beard looks interesting.
That's one way of putting it. Is it a beard? Are we ready to call this? About a week's growth here, so we're working hard, but there's a little bit of salt creeping in on this bad boy too. It's not all pepper anymore.
Yeah, we all got it. We all got it kind of going on. It's funny. I had a teammate in Milwaukee, Brian Winters, one of the greatest shooters of all time. But Brian looked like Charlie Manson during the season with this beard of his and these green eyes and the hair. But his tradition was as soon as the last game was played, he went into the bathroom and shaved the beard off. He was clean shaven for the summer. Now we do kind of the opposite. I think we're all kind of clean shaven during the season. Then the summer comes, it's like just let it all hang out. But man, thank you, Dave. Just season long favorite moments with this team this year. Give me a little Dave Koehn retrospective in terms of the highlights of this year for you as a broadcaster.
Yeah, for me, mine's probably going to be a pretty obvious one. I think I'm probably going to go to the Minnesota game. I'll tell you one thing. I'll take you inside my mind this year, too. I don't know whether it's been my old age. I'm starting to get more introspective or what, but I'm also trying to appreciate the things that really mean something to me in my life. And I think when I'm broadcasting a game, I've come to realize there's these, I don't know if you have this, Marcus, but you probably had it more as a player, my guess is, but I don't know if you experienced this as a broadcaster, or Kris, if you have either, but from your playing days, but there's such a thing is flow, and you can find it. Sometimes I'll find it on my mountain bike, find it on my skis, but where you're just, things are coming naturally. You are locked in. And sometimes I get that, I've realized as a broadcaster, but it has to be kind of a perfect storm in some ways, because you're reflecting this energy that's on the court. And so you've got to have, in other words, almost like you've got to have the canvas to paint on. And so that when that canvas is presented, like it was in that Minnesota game, there were a couple other times this year too, but at that same time, whether you're an athlete, whether you're a broadcaster, whether you're an accountant, whatever you are in your life, there are days when you're sharper than others. And so you've got to be locked in and having one of those days where things are coming naturally. You're feeling it. You're flowing in yourself. And I felt like that in that Minnesota game. I remember it vividly because I've kind of tried to be very conscious about when those moments happen, to appreciate them, because I think that's part of enjoying and living your best life, is recognizing those moments. And I felt like that was one of those moments where you were seeing this story unfold off the court, and there's an energy that you can take from your visual spot as you're watching, and you can retransmit it to viewers or listeners, whatever the medium is. And it's almost like a dance that's going on. It's a game that's going on our side while the game is going on the court. And that's just the machinations of what we do. But I just love that through my work, I can find a place where I can get into that flow state. And it's just, I don't know, it's unique. And I definitely felt that in that game, because this wild scene was playing out, and I just felt like I was in rhythm. Words were coming. And I felt like you were doing it justice. You always want to do it justice when you see something amazing. And sometimes you're better than others, but I felt pretty at flow in that spot. And it's one that I remember from this year.
Good stuff. Now, you mentioned Virginia. We talked about that briefly, but Tony Bennett, a quick story. I knew he had really potentially great coaching chops when he was an assistant to his dad, Dick, at Washington State. And Dick got sick, got the flu or something. So Tony had to move over his seat, get into the hot seat against Arizona and Lute Olson. And they were like, top 5 ranked or whatever, top 10 ranked at that time. So I'm like, yeah, we're going to get a chance to see what the young fella, what he going to bring to the table. He had such a great coaching bedside man. I mean, he was so calm and just arms folded. And it was a close game. They may have lost. Washington State may have lost that game like they were supposed to, but it was a competitive game. It may have been an overtime game. I think Klay Thompson may have been playing and had a big 40-point game or something. But the point is that I saw something in Tony Bennett right at that moment that led me to believe that he was going to be an outstanding coach. Didn't know he was going to be as great as he turned out to be, national champion and all that. Tony Bennett and the prospect for Tony Bennett in the NBA level. We know the NIL situation at Virginia, in college basketball was not his favorite. But what do you think about Tony as an NBA coach?
Yeah, that's a good question. I far be it for me to doubt that man, what he's done. I'll tell you that he has coaching chops that, it's funny when you can see, with one of the things that we do, we're often around these guys behind the scenes and you kind of see how they operate. Yeah. But, it's sometimes in the meal rooms, that's where you see a lot of things happen. I'll just never forget sitting in some of those meal rooms and I'd be having a conversation with Tony and then all of a sudden he'd have a thought and there'd be an assistant coach and be like, hey, say, come on over here for a second. And next thing you know, he'd be scribbling on a napkin, like literally, drawing up a plate. It's almost like something had come to him in that moment, and I don't, it's a language that I don't speak clearly. That's why I'm a broadcaster, but so I think his coach, you always felt like you had an edge every game Virginia played just on the basis of him as a coach. Now, was that completely based on that program at that time? Yeah, I think it was. So I think he would obviously have to change a lot of his, the pack line is probably not something you're going to be able to lean into in the NBA. You're going to have to evolve. And I think Brad Stevens did that. I think we saw him do that from Butler to the NBA and change kind of his approach. And he's had success at all levels now of the NBA as a coach and as a front office guy. But I think I would be hard pressed to bet against a guy like Tony Bennett. And it's funny because I remember his dad, of course, a Wisconsin guy, and all those guys are. That Tony grew up in the Green Bay area for a good chunk of his life too. But Dick Bennett said, Tony, because you mentioned watching him sitting with his arms folded from the side, not like his dad in that sense. Dick Bennett said, like, he got his mom's genes there. He did not get mine. He's not the fire and brimstone. Now he started to he'll get heated too. He's kind of like Giannis in that sense. He wouldn't let you push him around, but he also wasn't going to punch you in the face either. You know what I mean? It's that bridled, competitiveness. I think is a good way to describe it.
Didn't Tony play in the league?
Yes, Charlotte. Yeah. He played.
So please. So he definitely is an NBA coach. He played in the league. He speaks the language. He's familiar with how things are done on that level. I think he's an NBA coach all the way, if he wants to be. But it's a matter of, does he want to be?
Yeah, what does he want? I don't know what he wants right now. I know he's been pretty happy enjoying a little bit of downtime, but we'll see.
Yeah, and speaking of Dick, and this is just an aside, but I thought he got a bum rap. That Final Four team at Wisconsin, I forget which year. I think Michigan State may have been in the Final
2000. Four. It might have been 2000.
2000, but just because his teams play great defense, they slowed the pace down, and it was bad for basketball. And I'm like, winning is never bad for basketball, no matter how you get it done. It's not bad for basketball. But speaking of winning, as we segue into our final subject, Gorby and Princess Sophia. I knew I'd get a smile. I knew I'd get a smile out of you.
The Lombardi. The Lombardi.
Oh,
man. Come on, man. Explain. They're as cute as they want to be. Explain to me how all this came about and what are we looking at here?
Puppy bowl, babe.
That's Gorby right there. You know why his name's Gorby? And that's Princess Sophia. Actually, there's a little bit of backstory on these two. We adopted them last summer. We were only going to keep one. There they are. This is when they were puppies, right? So they're still puppies, only about a year old now. But Gorby's got the little thing on his face. So I say he looks like Mikhail Gorbachev. So he's Gorby. Okay. And then you've got Princess Sophia. We weren't planning on keeping. We had actually 5 of these dogs we were fostering. And I just started kind of arbitrarily naming them things. So I just started calling her Princess Sophia. I didn't think we were going to keep her. And then, of course, my wife falls in love with her. Next thing I know, we're keeping her. So it's like, all right, I guess she's Princess Sophia. So that was not intended long-term name, but it was kind of a joke name. But anyway, there she is. But so, yeah, those two were adopted as part of an animal rescue. They were in a puppy mill that we got them out of and through a nonprofit that my wife has done some work with. And so this woman that runs the nonprofit has a couple dogs she's able to get into the Puppy Bowl that airs on the Animal Planet every year during the Super Bowl. And she said, hey, we got to get your dogs on the Puppy Bowl. And so my wife was kind of like, say less, so she was all in on this thing. So these two were on the Puppy Bowl, and so it's something when your dog is more famous than you are. But that you're looking at the captain of the Puppy Bowl. Princess Sophia was a captain of the winning team on Puppy Bowl. So
congrats.
Yeah. Well, hey man, it's a big honor, and the endorsements that come with it, and the fame and celebrity, all the things,
How did you guys celebrate? How did you guys celebrate the win?
You know what we ended up doing? So it aired during obviously the Super Bowl. So the week after was the All-Star break, and we ended up having a bunch of people over at our house, and we had a Puppy Bowl party. So it was like we re-aired the Puppy Bowl, and we had probably I don't know, like 30 people over, and we had like all these dog related,
snacks
and foods and snacks and all that stuff. Pups in a blanket. We had these. Anyway, it was ridiculous, but it was a good time.
Cool. So, That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, for people like myself that aren't familiar with the puppy, I mean, so is there actual scores? And I mean, is there some rhyme or reason to what's going on out there? Or is it just all cuteness and sweetness?
It's basically like a 3-hour extended pun. It's like so Steve Levy calls it. So they got him on it, and he's doing play-by-play throughout it, and so. It's basically edited together. So they go out there. It's done. I don't know even how much I'm supposed to even say about how they do it. But so my wife went up there with them. I don't know if this is all top secret information I'm passing along here, but they filmed the parts with ours for about basically a day, and they just like kept shooting, all this footage. Then they edited it together, and then they put it, and they put all this, like play on words on everything that they do. So it's a like I say, pups in a blanket, that kind of stuff, anyway, I can't think of any puns because I'm not clever enough right now, but they have them all throughout. But by the end of it, like there's a shot of our Princess Sophia getting like presented with the team trophy for the team that won it. She was totally dead to the world. She'd been going for like 10 hours of shooting, totally exhausted. And actually, my wife was saying that she just wanted to get the hell out of there.
Yeah. She's ready to get back to the puppy mill, huh? Yes.
That's right. Yeah, no, let's stay away from there. Yeah, at that point, maybe.
Now, last question on this. How did Gorby take all this? Watching Sophia win, hoist the Lombardi. Now, was he salty? Was Gorby salty at Sophia about this scenario, Dave? You got to tell me.
They put them on opposite teams. So they were going against each other, and so it was in the second quarter is when our dogs were highlighted throughout it. I think you can go back and watch it on Max or something like that. Yes. So they had fun with it, and they were on opposite sides, and I think Gorby's always kind of salty with Princess Sophia anyway, and vice versa. Those two, the sibling rivalry is real. So
yes, sir.
No, he took it like a champ. He's a team player, but he doesn't quite have the same endorsement deal that she does, but he's doing all right.
Did they do the John Facenda, the Frozen Tundra? I mean, no.
None of that.
No, it was indoors. It was in a dome.
Okay, all right. Modern football. All right, Dave Koehn, man, we appreciate you stopping by, and enjoy the rest of your summer. I want to see what that beard looks like in about 2 months from now. You got to roll with it for the rest of the summer. What are you going to do?
I'm kind of on again, off again. I don't know. I start to get annoyed. And again, I appreciate you calling it a beard because I'm not sure if it even qualifies.
He's being generous. He's being generous, Dave.
Looks good, man.
Yeah. Well, I'll take it.
All right, man. Thank you, man. Enjoy your day. We appreciate you stopping by.